Good day, everyone. I'm going to discuss chapter 3, which is understanding management. So, first, I will define what is management. So, management is a set of principles relating to the rules of planning, coordinating, directing, and regulating, and the implementation of those principles in the efficient and effective use of physical, financial, human, and information capital to achieve organizational objectives. So, management, it is generally defined as the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the activities of employees in combination with other resources to accomplish organizational objectives. So the importance of activity management, it gives both the employer and the employees information on the performance of the personnel involved. So, and it helps to organize and emphasize the importance or relevance of the task at hand, and it also helps to avoid miscommunication and mistake of task repetition in the workplace. There are different concepts of management. First is management as a process. So, management as a process begin with the sole purpose of attaining an objective. So, further, it is specifically done in order to. So, there are the purpose. So, first is it rise clients satisfactions with the service the company provides. Second, develop personnel, experience, abilities, and capacity. Or third is it accomplish a particular goal or a goal. Second is management as a discipline. So management is also a discipline because it includes learning the procedures and values required to perform official administrative duties, as well as demonstrating the code of conduct and that managers must obey with performing their duties. Management is also being taught as with other research or discipline course at numerous institute and universities around the world. So, discipline management also concern itself with the manner or discipline in which the resources of the organization can be effectively and efficiently utilized to achieve the objective of the said firm. So the third is management as an art. So management as an art is also known to be an art. So because both share similar characteristics, and art is an structured body of knowledge that requires imaginations and expertise. So an artist often needs constant practice in order to become faultless or achieve a degree of perfection with which is considered acceptable. So management is an art. So it's called art because managing requires certain skills which are personal professions of a manager. Next is management as a group. So in any way, the concept of management suggests that it is a group. So in general, administrative functions are not performed by one person alone. For most cases, as companies expand, many specific managerial roles are generated so that the organization can meet its desired objectives. So, group it refers to all those persons who perform the task of managing an enterprise. In business, management involve the top level managers uh, who are the company's decision makers. Any decision they make is binding on other managers and employees at lower level. So this includes the president, chief executive, board of directors, general managers, etc. Next is management as a science. So management is also a science because everything used to classify as a field as a science is involved. So science, for example, establish the relation of cause and effect between variables. It also takes into consideration the values that bind the variables concerned. Scientific concepts are thus formulated using the standard scientific methods that involve testing, and the method involve testing and checking via a series of tests. And lastly is the management as a profession. So management is also an occupation as it has characteristic that allow it to be so. So a profession is called a career in which one acquires a knowledge and undergoes training series to fit perfectly into that role. So a career has a limited entry which uh, is also true in management. So although anyone can assume a managerial role in a corporation, and there is no law prohibiting that. So many companies now prefer for such positions individuals with a master's degree. The manager. A manager is a person in the organization who directs the activities of others. So they perform their work at different levels and they are called by different names. So the first line manager, so they are usually called supervisor, or in a manufacturing, so they may be called foreman. So second, the middle level manager. So these comprise all management levels between the organization's supervisory level and top level. Such managers may be called functional managers, so heads of the plants and managers of projects. So the third is the top managers. So they are the ones responsible for making organizational decisions and setting policies and strategies which affect all aspects of the organization. Such individuals may be named vice president, managing director, chief executive officer, or board chairman. So these are managerial functions. First is planning. So this is necessary to set goals and to develop strategies for organizing activities. So planning, so it facilitates proper coordination within an organization. So next is organization. So it assists in deciding the tasks to be performed, how to do them, how to organize the tasks, and where to make decision. So organization is to how to organize or how to do every task and where to make decisions. So it aids business efficiency and helps reduce waste. So next is staffing. So this is important for employing different types of people and performing different activities such as training, growth, evaluation, uh, compensation, welfare, etc. Next is directing. So this requires that subordinates be given instructions and motivate achieve their goals. So next and last is controlling. So this is monitoring practices to ensure that the workers perform the task as scheduled and to correct any major deviation. Managerial skills. So managing positions requires proper skills to perform various jobs. So he cannot be an efficient manager if he lacks the knowledge and skills to do the job, because it will be the foundations for his workers to be directed and driven. So it is important to have a knowledge and skills to do every job. So three essential skills or competence of the manager. So first is technical skills. So manager must be able to work with the resources, equipment, strategies, procedures, or the technical skills. First line executives as well as many middle managers have been active in the activities of the organizations. So technical aspects, even when a manager moves higher in hierarchy, the need for technical skills is less, but still technical skill helps in making decision. So technical skills are the abilities and knowledge needed to perform a specific task. So next is the human skills. So human skills, managers must have the ability to work well with other people both individually and in a group. So managers need these skills at the levels, but top managers need them the most. So the manager has interpersonal skills because he gets the best out of the people that work with him. So we are able to communicate, empower, lead, and inspire confidence, and enthusiasm. So human skills, it helps the manager to communicate, lead, and motivate an employee to work towards a higher level of productivity. So next is the uh, conceptual skills. So these managers needs to be able to integrate and organize the different activities. Managers must be able to think of abstract ideas and to contextualize them. We need to be able to see the organization as a whole and the relationship between its different subunits and to see how the organization fits into its wider context. So conceptual competence are important in decisions making. So since all managers are important in so all managers have to make decisions. These skills are necessary for all managers, but they become more important as they form the hierarchy of the organization. So conceptual skills, skills enable individuals to identify, conceptualize, and solve intricate problems. Qualities of manager. So since the manager makes the decisions for each type of activity and his decisions affect an organization's work, he should have the following attributes to do his job properly. So first, educational competence. So a manager has to have adequate and outstanding preparations. So besides other educational qualifications, so they are required to have a management education and training. So education not only widens the intellectual scope of executives, but also helps to understand and interpret things properly. So business environment awareness is also essential to tackle the various problems that the company can encounter. So second is intellectual quality. So managers should have a higher level of intelligence relative to others because they have more roles in the organization than other men. So intelligence can assist a manager in evaluating the organization's presence and future organization possibilities. So he must be able to predict the things in advance and take the necessary decisions in due course. And third, leadership ability. So manager has to be able to direct and motivate people working within a business. So he shall subordinate himself to leadership. So the subordinate skills So abilities and potential should be retained and properly used to achieve organizational goals. So if a manager has the leadership qualities, then for the good of the organization, he will inspire workers to improve their performance and functions. So next is training. So a manager must develop organizational competence as described in the uh, preceding issue. These skills consist of technical skills, human skills, and logical abilities. So next is technical knowledge and skills. So a manager should have technical knowledge of the organization's job and other tasks, and he will be better placed to assess and direct if he has knowledge of those things himself. Next is mental maturity. So to deal with different circumstances, a manager should have mental maturity. So he is supposed to be polite, good listener, and quick to respond to situations. So he has to take several uncomfortable decisions that could have an adverse effect on the job if not taken properly. So next is uh, positive attitude. So positive attitude is to manager's asset. A manager has to deal with a lot of people from both inside and outside the company. So he should be sensitive and optimistic to different suggestions and make rational choices. So he should not prejudge issues and should not take sides. So he will try and develop good relationship with different people dealing with him. So he would consider their issues and attempt to reach out and helping hand. So it is important to have a positive attitude and develop a good relationship with subordinates. So next is self confidence. So every manager should have faith in himself. So he has to take a lot of decisions every day. He should truly evaluate things before making decisions, and if he makes decisions, then he should stick to them. So and try to put them into practice. Next is foresight. So a manager has to make a decision not just for the present but also for the future. So the technology, marketing, consumers, behavior, financial setup, etc. Different highly interrelated roles of the manager. First is interpersonal roles. So a manager duties to perform is to receive visitors from outsides or presides over employee social functions and signed as organizations, monitor some legal documents, and functions as a chief when he is needed to carry out subordinate activities and not only to inspire the workforce but also to recruit, fire, and discipline employees, and last, paid outside organizations for the collection of the information relating to companies. So second is the informational roles. So all managers are required to perform informational roles. A, to collect information outside of one's own organization and institutions, perform the disseminator's position as they deliver information to the organization's subordinates, and acts as a spokesman when he represent outsiders to the organization. So next is decisional roles. So according to the Mintzberg, a management performs four decisional roles. The first, he initiates and supervises new projects to improve the performance of the organization. And as a conflict controller, administrator take corrective action to fix previously unknown issues and acts as resource allocation with allocating and controlling human, physical, and monetary resource allocations when debating and bargaining with other parties. He worked as a negotiator. So these are the important roles of the manager. First, as a leader, so defining various people's activities and goals within the organization, and helps the work group to create the right type of atmosphere and homogeneity. And last, the group's action and performance led by him are influenced. So as a coordinator, so bring together various resources, both physical and human, so for the achievement of organizational objectives. So mobilize different resources, bring intelligence, understanding, and goodwill among employers to complete work at the organization. And with the aid of effective communication, so better plan events and programs. And as a delegator of authority, he must assign duties to subordinates that he trusted. So and delegate the authority uh, necessary. And if they do any work independently, so the subordinates may gain confidence and be prepared for higher responsibilities. And encourage employees to take up appropriate work according to their skills and knowledge, and train for the next line of executives. And create proper communication system to that subordinates are able to get regular guidance and response for the activities taken up by them. So as a decision maker, after addressing various aspects of the problem, taking decisions for different activities, evaluating them, designing possible alternatives, and choosing the correct one. So take note, uh, decision which is made at the right time will yield good results. So it is decisions a manager must create consistency, firmness, and conviction. So a manager who constantly change his decisions will leave his subordinates in doubt. So the subordinates will be directed by decision-making capacity and the ability to take correct decision at the appropriate time. As a human relations practitioner, so address workplace issue with staff. B. Tries to get the best out of workers, and efforts are made to boost the organization's efficiency and encourage employees to engage in decision-making process. So, and as a spokesman for the organization, acts as the organization spokesman. He works with outsiders and provides them with the required information that they need. Maintain good relationship with all stakeholders, including shareholders, employees, customers, vendors, governments, etc. And and it helps to create a strong organization's reputation, and not only among clients but also among outsiders. So a manager should have an understanding of the principles of public understanding and the advantages of keeping the public informed while performing the role of spokesman. Modern challenges for managers. So first is challenges on information technologies or IT. So information technology is undergoing a transition. Computers, the internet's telecommunication, and endless number of software applications are available to get things done better. So managers are expected to use technology to carry out their work and produce desired results. So the IT selection must be made by having the end user in mind and work to be done. And manager need to know how to communicate with IT experts to evaluate the most appropriate solution for the job to be done, and then consider the best way to implement them. And also managers need to determine the best way to network the infrastructure of an entity, and also decide which network information will be accessible to whom and what kinds of protection are needed to protect the network. Efficient manager ensures workers are aligned with the technology is chosen and introduced. So information technology will uh, only be applied if effective in the workers are equipped to use it properly. So using this technology has enhanced employee performance at work. So managers trained in IT will have a bright future. So some may begin to work for more than one organization without having to leave their home office. Manager must remain aware of the opportunities and challenges that the unabated technology transition possess to organizations.